When you're frustrated about what's happening in the world, but not brave enough to do anything about it. We're going to get into it. Hi, I'm Jo. Welcome back. This is the Ultimate Love Letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. You're frustrated about what you see in this fallen world, yet you are petrified to do anything about it. I am so over individuals who have a heart and who are sensitive enough to everything that's happening in the world, yet they stay on the sidelines petrified to jump in and do something about it. And what's even concerning is when you begin to explain that all that's really needed to make the hugest impact in the world, the one thing that's necessary that will absolutely heal the world, which is love, which is loving yourself first, it is too simple for people to understand. And so they mock that very ingredient that is meant to change everything. I am over it. And why I say I'm over it, because these are the same people that are actually intended to make big waves. Like, they are sensitive enough. They want to see change. They understand what it looks like to be on the right side of history. You see, they are posting the powerful words of the Savior, Christ, MOK. They're preaching love. But yet when it comes down to just being about what it really takes, just being about what you're posting about, oh no, they can't get behind that. It's too simple. This fallen world is far too complicated for just love to heal it. Are you kidding me? Love is the highest frequency. There is no other element higher than love. Love will absolutely heal everything. And it's starting with you loving yourself. People, and I get it, we are so fixated on we have to go outside of ourselves to fix the problem. And here's the thing. When we align with love, meaning we are just loving ourselves, which is the God inside of ourselves, what happens next happens organically. We begin to move in a place in spite of the fear. Doesn't mean you won't be afraid, but you understand that God has got your back as He is guiding you to move towards and be a part of, to heal the injustices that we see around us. We move with the fear. That is what it means to be courageous. It doesn't mean that you're not scared. You are absolutely scared. But you're saying, I know what can heal this. I know that when we tap in with Source, when we tap in with ourselves, when we love ourselves, then that love ripples out into the world and it wakes others to love themselves. And when you're busy loving on yourself, you have no time to be hating on anyone else. And that is what we're seeing in the world. We are living, yes, in a deeply fallen world because people are afraid that if I don't rise up, or if I allow you to rise up, then I can't rise. That if I'm giving you a fair wage, then perhaps you'll exceed me. You won't be working in my factory, so I have to hoard the money. It's fear. I can't boast your ego up too much and say you're doing a good job because then maybe you'll surpass me. It's fear. I want this piece of land so that I have enough for me and my generation. And if I give you this sliver of land, then you're going to have more than me. And I need to secure my survival for me and mine. That's fear. Fear is the opposite of love. When we love, then we sit in our abundance and we understand that there is enough for everyone. Fear says, I am free to give you what you need to be able to survive, because as I give out, it comes right back. Everything needs to circulate. Generosity needs to circulate. Money needs to circulate. Goodness needs to circulate. And I know as I give out, it will be multiplied back to me. That's love. Fear says I have to hoard. And when we hoard, things clot and rot. And so we begin to see the projection of our fear, right? So as we're hoarding land, as we're hoarding resources, as we're hoarding love, as we're hoarding money, these things begin to clot and go away. So then we think, oh my gosh, I haven't hoarded enough. I have to go out and hoard more. I have to go out and take more from you so that I can ensure our survival. But understanding that what we're doing is we're coming from a place of fear, which is lack at the root. And that place we'll only experience what our intention is, which is lack. We could never accumulate enough that would compensate for what's at the root cause of our mindset, which is fear, which is the opposite of love. How we heal the world is this, and it is far too simple for most people. But it's everything Jesus spoke about. It's everything Martin Luther King spoke about. And that is love. But you have to start with loving yourself. You cannot go out and try to love on your neighbor if you haven't loved yourself. Sit with yourself. Go faster, further. Sit with yourself in meditation, in prayer, feeling the fear that's welling up, and just sit there with it, feeling it. Allow it to be healed. As you feel it, then it will pass. And as it continues to pass, you are growing deeper in love for yourself, deeper in love for Source. And as you become and fall deeper in love with Source, God will infuse bravery. God then will infuse the truth that we are meant to live free, that we are meant to live courageous. Then as you just stand in that place of love, and you are shining that light, just going out, being love, that light is contagious. Other people catch on. And now other people want some of that light. And then you are able to preach to them, teach them. Just love yourself. Just sit with the pain that was projected on all of us, mostly in childhood. Sit with that fear. As you sit with it, you heal it. And as you heal it, you grow deeper in love with yourself and with God. And as you do that, God infuses you to become the person you are meant to be, which is a courageous, fearless, brave being. And then now two are changed. And now you and the person you have changed just by loving yourself, now you both are going out into the world spreading that light. Now here comes 5 more souls wanting a piece of that light, that truth. What is that piece that you carry into the world? Then, as you're able to speak to it from a place of experience, from a place of truth, now 10 are changed. Now, Here we have a dozen people that have been changed that are now going out into the world, spreading that love, spreading that light. That is how we create real change. But sitting on the sideline, petrified in fear of what the world is doing, the world is in chaos, the world is collapsing, and all you're doing is posting a few love quotes on Instagram without doing the real work, I am here to tell you your change is ineffective. But you can go further faster. Sit with yourself and watch what unfolds for you. Then in turn, as it unfolds for you, the world will take notice and will become changed by the change you have done for yourself. That is how it works. When will we learn love is the frequency that cures it all? Love is the frequency that heals it all. And as we're standing in our love, then we can speak from everything that is created when we're not standing in our love, which is what we see in the world today. The fallen state that you see the world in today was a result of a collective mindset of people not loving themselves. That is what is true, and that is what was created. That's it. So, no need to repeat the narrative of what everyone else in the world is doing and trying to combat that hate with more hate or that fear with more fear. No, you begin to speak from a place of love. Look, guys, we see what was created by not choosing love. Here is what we create when we do choose love. Will you join me in choosing love? Then when you just stand in that truth, meaning don't be swayed by your truth of standing in reverence, in alignment with the Most High, which is God, which is love, then you create real change. People come for me all the time. Like people who listen to the podcast, people who know me personally, people who know how I live. And yet when they hear a new news media that scares the holy hell out of them, they come to me with their petrified fears thinking that I'm going to be swayed. Like, Joe, are you really going to travel this year? Did you hear what ICE did? I don't give a damn what anyone has done. I'm going where my God says to go. And if my God says I am to travel this year, I am traveling this year. Every single place my God is pointing to on the map. I don't care what man says or does. I'm going with my God, blissfully, peacefully, and without fear of man. Tap in, fam. I'm over it. And they call me to think like I'm going to be swayed. It's like, do you listen to what we're preaching on Tull? Like, this is not scripted. This is my soul speaking. I live what I talk. I talk what I walk. I'm living deeply in spite of the fear, which means I'm living deeply in bravery, deeply in freedom, deeply with the divine. I've said this before. I don't care who runs the country. I'm still going to win because I know my Father is over all of it. So yes, it may look scary because of who we have in office. It may look scary of what is happening in the government. It may look scary about what's happening in the world, but God says, keep your eyes on me and watch you ascend above it. Those who do the work are the only ones that can understand. You can't understand until you do the work. For God's sake, do something, do the work, or continue to live in a corner with fear stopping you. But then do that. But don't call me trying to project your fears on me, thinking that, oh, this will be the thing that stops me from believing in my God, to stops me from living free, that this is a thing that absolutely saturates everything that I've been taught by God himself. And now I'm going to be slowed down by man. Are you kidding me? In fact, I'm revving up. No. And here's another thing. I didn't think I was going to go political, but I am going to, because it's just on my heart now, because I'm here. Everything that's happening politically in the US this is chess, not checkers. I remember being, 2016, I believe it was 2016, right? When we had Bernie Sanders that could possibly gain, that was, on the ballot. And I was in awe. For me, speaking about any politician, then yes, I want someone who has been in the fight, who has receipts, who marched with MLK. One thing I said, after visiting Vermont, I said, boy, Bernie should have just said, if you want to see what I'm about, go visit Vermont, where I'm from. Those are the kindest people in the country, in my opinion. The most quaint town, the most generous, the most kindest, sweetest, revering souls in this little town, Vermont, this little state, rather. And that's where Bernie came from. And so as I was backing Bernie, and y'all who are afraid, right? Afraid he wasn't going to win, afraid that he was too old, all the fear, didn't vote for him. And so we got someone else in office. But we know how that went. Only a few years later, that someone else that we got in office needed to be replaced for whatever reason. I'm not going to go there. And so it allowed a crack for who we see in office today. I'm just saying. This is a collective mindset. Follow the chess pieces, y'all. That fear that kept Bernie out of office is that fear, that same fear that has manifested what we see today in the US, that now everybody is up in arms about, saying, how could we let this happen? You know what? And they wonder why I'm not in the fight. No, I'm out of it. I'm out of this fight for the next 4 years because the collective mindset in the US is what created what's happening. So no, I was in the fight. I'm one that I protest. I stand against everything that stands against love. I preached. I spoke what I believe was true, was that we needed something more than the Democrats, more than the Republicans. We needed a third party. And I've been speaking that since Bernie was on the ballot, but Bernie was the last of them for me. I was like, if it's not Bernie, then we need a third party. Bernie actually needs to just stand in his third party, but I digress. But anyway, but understand, that's the fear. We lost a real one, in my opinion, because we were afraid that the rest of us wouldn't get behind it enough to absolutely see him, instead of just voting from our heart and just voting for what we want to see, which it seemed like we all wanted to see the same thing, which was Bernie. I don't know, but that's what it felt like, right? But anyway, now speed ahead to this year. I'm out of the fight. So don't call me about the falling country, the falling ways of the country. Don't call me because things are now changing as a result of this administration. You know what? We get what we fear and we get what we love. Y'all feared this. Y'all got it. I am keeping my eyes on God in love, and I am ascending above it. It's not my fight. It's not my fight at all. And so I encourage everyone else to stand in their bravery and in their truth. Go deeper, ascend deeper with the divine, and allow him to remind you of the brave, regal soul that you truly are. It's time to start living our truth, not being terrified of man. When you speak up, speak your true expression, when you're aligned with God, who be against you? Do you believe it or do you not? And if you don't believe it, perhaps start posting what you do believe. Because here's another thing. We post all these beautiful, powerful words, but yet are petrified in fear. And I'm not saying affirmations are wonderful. Affirmations are necessary, but at some point, the affirmations got to do what they're intended to do. You got to step out in what you're talking about. You got to step out in what you're affirming on your life. It only works if we do. Love will heal it all. What we're seeing in the world today is a result of billions of people not loving themselves enough. I know it sounds simple, but it's actually a lot harder than we think, which is why you're not loving yourself enough. Because if it was very simple, everybody would be doing it. The hardest work is to sit with ourselves, not pacifying the pain of the emotions that come up, not trying to numb it with a substance, not trying to avoid it by getting away from it, but actually just sitting there, allowing the gunk of the past, the lies of our childhood trauma, let it all surface, feel it, cry about it, scream about it, and then it heals. And as it heals, you grow deeper in love with yourself. And as we grow deeper in love with ourselves, then the world is changed. That is the way, fam. Don't let anyone else fool you. That's the truth. It's biblical. It's actually in every single body of religious work. And I'm not religious, but at the end of every quote unquote religion is love. When will we listen? Thank you so much for joining this convo. If you haven't found us on YouTube, make sure that you are subscribed there. We would be honored to have you. Also, make sure that you're following from wherever you're podcasting, whether that's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon. And speaking of Amazon, make sure that you're checking out our new book, Fake Ass Vegan, a book on balance. I speak more about this in that book as well. It's all about balance. It's all about self-love, true love, and that's love of the source. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll chat again real soon. Bye for now.